Hello, and welcome to another critical conversation. This critical conversation is around exploring the impact of COVID-19 on education. So, we're talking to everyday people like you and I to find out that impact in their world. I have my co host with me, Deanne.
Hello there. I'm Deanne Myrie, and I am a mother as well as a principal at Cambridge Early Learning Center, which is in Nashville. So I'm excited about having these conversations and connecting with other mothers and educators and seeing how we're all surviving this world in this global pandemic.
Thank you, Deanne. My name is Wanda L. Scott. You know me, I'm an educational consultant. I love all things education, and I just want to dive in and see what's going on in the world of education. Today, we have the privilege of interviewing Catrisha Watts. Catrisha, tell us about yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am Catrisha Watts, as Wanda stated. I am a wife of 13 years so far. I am a mother of 4 children, ages 4, 7, 9, and 11. And I am also a, pre-COVID substitute teacher in Prince George's County Public Schools. Actually, I am an early childhood special educator. And I did that about 3 days a week as a sub at a early childhood school for children with special needs. But when March came, I have not been working. I've just been at home with my children since then, and new wellness business owner. So a whole lot of things going on in this COVID season.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing with us who you are and all the things that you have going on. So with all of that in mind, 2020 hit, global pandemic. Can you tell us how that affected you and your life and educating your children and your life as an educator?
Yes. So, like I said, actually, I still remember the day that the country, or I should say the world, shut down. I had been following the virus or whatever even before it kind of got here. I was actually following it when it was still in China or whatever. But I kind of knew it was happening, it was coming. And so I was preparing as far as like getting things in my home, but I had not mentally prepared about kids being out of school for that long, of course. So when it happened, I was just like, oh, okay, 2 weeks, we can do that, a month, we can do that. But when it happened, I didn't realize that, I would not be subbing for that long, and so that the schools were shut down. And so that means that I wasn't subbing. And then I immediately was educating for my own children, which wasn't really so much a big hard thing as it was trying to do my own thing as well as be obedient to what the school had in place. So I think that was the hardest part for me. It became really frustrating because I wanted to do what I wanted to do with them, which was working, but then the school came in and said, okay, well, they need to be online at this time of day, they need to be online at this time of day. And that transition for trying to do that with 3 kids, and then I also had a little 3-year-old running around at that time. It was really, really difficult. I was so stressed. I mean, it just felt like it was a all day long affair. Like we were still doing school at 7, 8 o'clock at night, just because I was trying to make sure the oldest one was straight, and then the youngest, and then the middle, and then my preschooler. So it was not pretty. It was not fun. Yeah, it was rough. It was rough.
Wow, I hear your pain. I hear your frustration. I didn't say my children's ages in the beginning. I have what's now a senior. She'll be heading to college this year, but I do have twins that are 11 that are 6th graders. So I feel your pain. And so you said there things kind of got crazy, and I feel you on that. Keeping up with assignments, keeping up with who's in the house, and before the pandemic, I felt like my children were independent and self-sufficient. But I learned very quickly that wasn't the case because I was having to be so hands-on. What are some of the things that you did to kind of restore order? Like I heard you say it was a little crazy, but maybe this go around it's kind of, you know, maybe gotten a little better, I'm hoping, because we've still kind of been in that space. So what are some things that you've done to kind of restore order and to bring, you know, a little more structure and a little more sense of normalcy to this homeschool connection?
Yeah, so I agree, and I believe what you're saying is much better now. So I think because when it first happened, I think we were all just in survival mode. And so teachers were trying to figure it out, parents were trying to figure it out, kids were trying to figure it out, and we were still trying to just figure out life in general, everybody, as far as living in a pandemic. So I think at that time it was so much emotion going on, and you know, school was kind of like not a priority because everybody was just trying to figure it all out. And so there weren't many boundaries. I wasn't really sticking to a schedule, you know, it was just flexible and we were just winging it, but it was crazy. But now they have a schedule, and they have a set work area. They don't always stay at their desk, but they just have a set work area, and they have, you know, set things that they can do when it's downtime, but not necessarily out of school time. So I think the boundaries was the biggest thing that happened for us. And then now we kind of like know what to expect, and they're just resilient. Kids are just so resilient. It's so adaptive. They just do what they have to do. And only one of mine is still struggling. My oldest, actually, my middle schooler, is still struggling the most out of all of the kids. My daughter was struggling the most at first, but I actually reached out to her school for support. And so she's getting so much support and she's doing really good. So everything seems to be falling into place. I'm still working with my middle schooler. He's struggling the most right now, but it's much better. It's not crazy town in here no more. It's not crazy town.
Good. Well, and you know, you talked about something that triggered another question for me. You talked about, you know, how some of them, like, you're absolutely right. Children are resilient and they are able to kind of switch and adapt to the environment. But one thing that we've not talked about a lot with children in general with this pandemic is how the children are doing socially, emotionally, since, you know, they're not with their peers. You know, I know that our children, maybe your children, don't have to worry about it as much because they do have siblings, so they are getting some kind of interaction. But we do forget that there are children that are independent, that don't have other siblings. How do you feel like they're doing socially, emotionally? Are they missing that connection, wanting to get with friends or different things like that? Or how are they interacting socially with their friends without being, you know, physically together?
Yeah, so honestly, that is what this actually makes me a little emotional, but that is what my middle schooler is struggling with the most. He is a social guy, and so friends are important to him, and it's his first year of middle school. So actually, I was surprised that he would struggle the most because he actually did the best when it first happened. When he went to online school, he thrived. Like, he would wake himself up in the morning, he would get his work done and everything. But something about this transition from fifth grade to now he's in middle school, or sixth grade, here is middle school. He's really, really struggling a whole lot. Not academically necessarily, but the workload is a lot for him. And he just feels like he's just always doing schoolwork and he's not getting I guess, the fun benefits that school would bring. He's not struggling with the academics of it. It's just the fact that he's just always doing schoolwork, but not necessarily getting that connection that you would get in a middle school with friends. Because at that age group, friends are important for their development. So my younger kids play with each other. The 7 and the 9-year-old and even my 4-year-old, they play together. They kind of like the same stuff. But my middle schooler is in that age where he doesn't do all that stuff that they do. And they don't do what he do, or what he wants to do. And so he feels alone. He's told me that. So I actually have been just spending more time with him, speaking with him, just trying to get some coping skills for him and talking to his teachers about the workload, because to me, it's a bit much for his eyes to be on the screen so much, because he's on the screen for 4 hours with them. 2 in the morning, he goes, well, 2.5, from 8:30 to 11 he goes, and then he goes again from 1 to 3, as far as with his teachers. That's what he does. But then after school, he'll have like 3 to 4 hours of homework. So if you add all that up, his eyes are looking at a screen for a long time. You know what I mean? So he's told me. So I think the older they are, middle school and early high school, where they're not as independent yet without their parents, but still they need their friends. I feel like it's the hardest for that age group. That middle school and early high school age group, I would say like 11 through probably 15. I think it's the hardest.
So you being an educator, Catrisha,
Mhm.
have you been able to pull any of the things that you learned from just being in the classroom to help facilitate your children's learning at home?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, just being an educator in general, I just know that kids, especially the younger they are, they learn by doing something with their hands. You know, a lot of them are visual, but they also need to be doing something with their hands. So, for my daughter, I had to like create little boxes of things for her on her desk so that when she has little time, because she learns really quickly, so she might submit her assignment and then she wants to get up. So I had to let her be doing something with her hands, and then I have to encourage them to get up and stretch, move their bodies, because they have to be moving in order to learn. And then with my older son, as far as with him, I've just been trying to do a lot of mindfulness things with him, just to help him to like change the perspective of the workload, and just to help him to create little small goals for himself that he can see that he's making progress, and all of those things that we learn as educators to help keep kids motivated is what I've been doing with them during this time as well. As far as the academic part, none of them have really struggled with the academics of it. Most of the time, the questions that they have, I don't even know the answer. I'll just be like, "Did you ask your teacher?" And they'd be like, "Oh no, I didn't ask." So just kind of like that kind of stuff. But it hasn't really been academic. It's been more so the other parts of education that they've struggled with.
So tell me about your self-care, because this interview is also about you and how you've been impacted through COVID, dealing with education in all of those aspects. What are you doing for you?
So when it first happened, I wasn't doing anything for me because it was, like I said, survival time. So it was like every day I felt like I was losing it by the end of the day. Honestly, I did. But now I think I have to get up earlier. I get up earlier than them so that I can have time to just do my prayer and my scripture reading, and just write a little quick note for today. Like, what is a few things I know I need to get done, just so that I'm not feel like I'm never getting anything done. So that's like what I do in the beginning of the day. But I have like my Friday. That's my day I look forward to. Like my kids know that's mommy day. And so that kind of keeps me going through the week to know that Friday's coming. And so I'm not cooking, they finish with school, so I'm not stressing about that. So it's just the little things for me. It's just the little things of knowing that I have Friday coming, and that morning time, getting that morning time in. Yeah.
Okay, so in closing, is there anything that you learned in 2020 that you're going to bring into 2021 that you'd like to share with those who are listening?
I've learned that not only do I love my little family, I like us. We spend a lot of time with each other lately, and I like us. We're good. We're crazy. Sometimes we're like at each other's throats because we're always here, but I like us. And so I think I would just say to just support each other, give each other a whole lot of grace. Mommies, give your kids grace. Kids, give your moms and dads grace, and definitely give the educators and the teachers and the counselors and all of them so much grace, because we're all in this together. So like, let's just love on each other. Let's just be kind. Let's just support each other. Because we've seen that, everybody is not necessarily thriving, but we are surviving. And so we're all in this together. So I think we just use each other and reach out for support if you need it. Definitely. And that's what I had to do for my daughter. I had to get help from the school counselor. And so that has been a really big help.
I want you to tell everyone what you call your family and your children. All of the energy.
High wattage. Last name Watts. 4 kids, two adults. high wattage. But I mean, it has a scriptural part to it too, because it's all about light. And so, you know, we're shining Jesus' light. That's what we do. High wattage.
I love that. I love that. You have any closing thoughts, Deanne?
No, I love it. That was cute enough. And I like that you have shined the light on the family, and that it did show us that we have a lot to do together as a family, because we're a family of 5 here too. So I've been enjoying my time. I need my time away, but I have enjoyed getting to know them a little bit better, and enjoying this house that we pay so much for, that we really never have lived in until this last year. So yes, we've learned a lot.
Oh, good. I've enjoyed my time with you both.
Thank you so much, both of you. Thank you to our guest, Catrisha. Thank you to Deanne. And I want to say thank you to all of you who are watching this critical conversation on YouTube or wherever you see it. Thank you for your participation. I ask that you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and leave some comments about what your experience has been, if you can relate to those that we're interviewing. So thank you. Have a wonderful day.